Welcome to today's Explainer. Let's dive right into how you can secure your financial legacy and gain absolute peace of mind. Just imagine knowing for a fact that no matter what happens, your hard-earned money will seamlessly and instantly pass to the people you care about most. No delays, no massive legal headaches. That is the true power of adding a beneficiary to your Truist account, and that's exactly what we're breaking down today.
So think about this for a second. What actually happens to your money if you're suddenly not around? It's a heavy question, but absolutely crucial. We all love having total control over our finances, right? But neglecting to plan for when you step out of the picture can leave your loved ones completely locked out of funds they desperately need. Without clear, legally binding instructions attached directly to your bank accounts, your family could be facing agonizing, drawn-out delays.
Here's our roadmap for today's Explainer. First, why name a beneficiary? Second, the exact steps for adding beneficiaries at Truist. Third, the different rules for different types of accounts. Fourth, the common mistakes you'll definitely want to avoid. And finally, keeping your plan updated.
Okay, let's jump into part one, why name a beneficiary in the first place?
The specific mechanism we're talking about here is called a payable on death designation. You'll usually hear it called a POD. Basically, setting up a POD designation gives your loved ones immediate access to your funds when the time comes. But here's the absolute best part. Especially if you're new to all this and just setting it up, during your lifetime, the beneficiary has zero access to your money. They can't withdraw a single cent, they don't get your bank statements, and you maintain 100% control. The designation only triggers after your passing.
Now you might be thinking, well, I've got a will, so I'm totally covered. Actually, a will has to go through a public probate court process. It takes a significant amount of time, it becomes public record, and it can rack up some serious legal costs. A beneficiary form, on the other hand, is like a private, high-speed express lane directly to your loved ones. It completely bypasses probate.
Moving right along to part two, adding beneficiaries at Truist.
For your everyday retail deposit accounts, like your checking and savings, doing this digitally is super easy. It's really just 4 quick steps. First, log into your Truist online banking portal or the mobile app. Next, navigate over to your account services and click Add/Update Beneficiaries. You'll need to grab some basic info for the person you're adding, their legal name, date of birth, and social security number. Finally, you just tell Truist if they are primary or secondary beneficiary and what exact percentage of the account they should get. Boom, takes just a few minutes.
But heads up if you have a more complex setup. The process does shift a bit. Say you're naming a formal trust as your beneficiary, or retitling your account entirely into a trust. For that, you have to step out of the digital realm. You'll actually need to visit a physical Truist branch with your official trust documents, like the Certificate of Trust. Truist legal department has to review everything, and you'll need to provide actual physical, wet signatures on new signature cards.
All right, part 3. Different accounts, different rules.
You really need to understand how the rules change across Truist's different asset classes. Your checking and savings accounts use that POD structure we just talked about. But if you have a brokerage account, investments in stocks, that's actually called a transfer on death, or a TOD. And at Truist Transfer Agent, standard TODs are often limited to just a single beneficiary per account. Then you've got retirement accounts, like your IRAs. These have strictly enforced federal rules. For instance, if you're married and you want to name someone other than your spouse as the primary beneficiary on your IRA, your spouse actually has to sign a formal, notarized waiver. No way around it.
Now for part 4, common mistakes to avoid. This is a big one.
Here is something that catches so many well-intentioned people completely off guard. Beneficiary designations absolutely override a will, period. Under contract law, whatever form is on file with Truist takes total precedence. Let's look at a real-world scenario. Say your will perfectly divides your assets equally among your 3 children, but maybe 5 years ago, you filled out a Truist POD form and only listed your oldest child. When you pass away, Truist is contractually obligated to pay 100% of that account to the one child listed on the form. The other 2 children get absolutely nothing from that specific account, regardless of what your will says.
And here is another massive red flag. Please do not name minor children directly on your account. It's a super common mistake fueled by love, but legally speaking, minors cannot sign contracts or claim bank funds. If you die with a minor listed as a direct beneficiary, Truist is legally required to freeze the account. It just sits there, frozen, until a court officially appoints a guardian or sets up a custodial framework. If you want to leave money to your kids, you really need to work with an advisor to set up a trust or a custodial account instead.
This next pitfall is specifically for married couples. In some states, married couples get a legal protection called tenants by the entirety, which essentially means a creditor of just one spouse cannot seize their joint account. However, due to a specific clause in the Truist deposit agreement, joint accounts are explicitly structured as joint tenants with rights of survivorship. This means married couples face a real asset protection gap where one spouse's debt could legally put the whole joint account at risk. To protect against this, many couples opt to hold separate individual accounts with reciprocal POD designations.
Okay, let's pivot to a really cool, advantageous strategy involving this number right here, $1.25 million. This represents a brilliant way to maximize your FDIC deposit insurance. Now, the standard FDIC limit is $250,000, but by naming unique POD beneficiaries on your Truist account, you actually expand that coverage. Every unique beneficiary you add gives you another $250,000 in coverage, up to 5 beneficiaries. So, do the math. By naming 5 distinct beneficiaries, you can safely insure up to $1.25 million in a single, standard Truist account.
Finally, Part 5. Keeping your plan updated.
Adding a beneficiary is definitely not a set-it-and-forget-it kind of deal. Your life changes constantly, and your designations need to change with it. We see scenarios all the time where someone names a parent when they are young, they eventually get married, forget to update the form, and their new spouse is legally left with nothing. To prevent those unintended disasters, make it a solid habit to log in and review your beneficiaries every 3 years and immediately after any major life event, like a marriage, a divorce, a birth, or a passing in the family.
Before we finish up, a quick but important reminder. Because these are incredibly powerful legal designations, please consult with a professional regarding your own specific estate planning needs. Ensure you verify these details with Truist directly, because laws and internal administrative protocols can and absolutely do change over time. What works perfectly for your neighbor might require a completely different approach for you.
So I'll leave you with this final thought today. Have you actually checked your beneficiary forms recently? Don't leave your legacy to chance, or worse, to the probate courts. Take just 5 minutes today. Log into your Truist app, review your settings, and make absolutely certain your legacy is protected exactly the way you intend it to be. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll see you next time.